Before the world knew the name of Leonidas, before the hot gates, Sparta was a land of sweat, steel, and unbreakable pride. Its people were bound not by kingship alone, but by the promise that freedom was worth any price. But peace was never built to last. Across the horizon, black sails rose like storm clouds. The Persian Empire, led by a commander whose hunger would not stop at borders, sought to claim not just land, but the very soul of Greece. And in those days, Leonidas was no king, only a soldier, forged in the dirt, scarred by loss, and walking a path he could not yet see.
He was a warrior in training. His only weapons, discipline, courage, and the shield of his brothers at his side. But the rules of war were changing. Sparta's enemies no longer came with honor. They came with fire, gold, and fear. Old mentors became the first to fall. And in the shadows, the Persians built an army that could drown the world in blood. To stand against it, he would need more than strength. He would need to become something the world had never seen.
Prologue of the Gods. The film opens with narration by Dilios, recalling how Greece was shaped by the gods' will. Myths of Zeus, Poseidon, and Ares are shown in vivid flashbacks, grounding the audience in a world where war is seen as divine destiny. The narration sets the stage. Persia is rising, and Greece's freedom is at stake. Rise of Darius. We witness the Persian king Darius leading campaigns across Asia. He unites tribes under his banner and begins expanding westward. His ambition is not just power, but to build an eternal empire. His conquests are brutal, foreshadowing Persia's march toward Greece. Young Xerxes. Xerxes, son of Darius, is introduced as a conflicted young man. Unlike his father, he initially shows hesitation about violence. However, Darius mentors him harshly, teaching him that mercy is weakness. This sets Xerxes on his path toward becoming the God-King, the oracle's warning. In Sparta, the Oracle of Delphi gives a cryptic prophecy. A tide of blood from the east shall drown the free lands unless united shields stand firm. Spartan leaders are disturbed, but their council dismisses the idea of preparing for war, choosing to cling to tradition. Athenian politics. In Athens, a young Themistocles rises in politics. He argues for strengthening the navy, foreseeing Persia's inevitable advance. Aristocrats, however, mock his warnings, seeing him as a fearmonger. His frustration grows as he struggles to convince his city to prepare. Spartans at war games. We see a Spartan training sequence, emphasizing their harsh warrior culture. Leonidas, still a prince, participates in brutal war games with his comrades. His leadership qualities are clear, as he earns the respect of soldiers through both strength and cunning. First clash at Marathon. The Persian invasion under Darius strikes at Marathon. Themistocles and Miltiades rally Athenian hoplites against overwhelming odds. The battle is fierce and bloody, shown with slow-motion spear clashes, shield walls breaking, and Persians swarming. Against all odds, the Athenians win, forcing Persia to retreat. Darius' death. After Marathon, Darius is humiliated. His pride shattered. He vows vengeance. But soon after, he falls in battle against Scythian rebels, leaving Xerxes as heir. Xerxes swears to surpass his father and crush Greece entirely. Artemisia's origin. The story shifts to Artemisia, a Greek woman enslaved by raiders who sold her family to Persians. Brutalized and scarred, she grows into a fierce warrior. She rises within the Persian navy, her loyalty to Xerxes forged from rage against her own people who failed to protect her. Xerxes' transformation. Haunted by his father's legacy, Xerxes undergoes a mystical ritual with Persian priests and sorcerers. He enters the desert, walking into darkness and re-emerging as the self-proclaimed God-King. His body is gilded, his demeanor changed, divine arrogance replacing doubt. Athens divided. Back in Greece, Themistocles pushes for unity among the city-states. While some agree, others, including many Spartans, refuse to follow Athens' leadership. The political divide deepens, leaving Greece fractured and vulnerable. Leonidas' ascension. King Leonidas officially takes the Spartan throne. His rule is marked by loyalty to tradition and military strength. He is introduced as a leader who values honor over politics, believing Spartans must fight for freedom even if others hesitate. The gathering storm. Persia amasses its armies, vast legions, monstrous war beasts, and colossal ships. Xerxes commands a campaign larger than anything Greece has ever seen. Artemisia stands as admiral of the fleet, preparing to strike Greece from the sea while Xerxes advances by land. Themistocles' vision. Themistocles seeks an audience with Leonidas in Sparta. He urges him to unite Athens and Sparta against Persia. Leonidas respects his foresight, but refuses to compromise Spartan independence. Their exchange is tense yet respectful, hinting at their shared destiny. Persians strike Naxos. The Persian fleet, led by Artemisia, invades Naxos, a Greek island. The slaughter is merciless, with fire and chaos spreading. Survivors flee to mainland Greece with tales of Persia's unstoppable might, shaking morale across the land. Athens in fear. Athenians panic after news of Naxos. Themistocles argues more desperately for building ships. He begins secretly rallying shipbuilders and training rowers in secret, laying the foundations for the legendary Greek navy that will one day face Artemisia. Xerxes' march. Xerxes' massive army begins moving toward Thermopylae. The sheer size of his host terrifies the Greeks. Scouts return with reports of endless Persian soldiers, giant war elephants, and siege machines never before seen in Greece. Spartans prepare. Leonidas senses the inevitability of war. Though his council remains hesitant, he begins training an elite force of 300 Spartan warriors, handpicking each man for his strength, loyalty, and willingness to sacrifice for freedom. The tone grows grim as war looms closer. The fateful meeting. In a dramatic meeting, Themistocles and Leonidas speak once more. Themistocles promises to hold the seas if Leonidas holds the land. The two leaders recognize that their paths, though separate, are bound together in the coming war. March toward destiny. The film ends with Leonidas leading his 300 toward Thermopylae as Themistocles prepares Athens for naval war. Xerxes' armada darkens the horizon, while Artemisia sharpens her blade in anticipation. The final narration declares, "This is not the end. It is only the beginning of the empire's rise and the blood that would carve Greece's legend."